Good morning, everyone. Wanted to show you, I have been messing around in my house and doing a little more design, and I added this bench in here from our office and also added this plant, and it was seen in the last video. I was really interested in it, and then I actually went back and got it. I think they're called like a Swiss cheese plant. I don't know the technical name for it, but it is so pretty. So I wanted to give you all a view of my living room now. This is what you see first thing in the morning when you come in, and I am just loving it. We've got Ginger on her blanket over here. Morning, Ginge. I don't think she's ready for the day yet. And then we have Dauntless over here. Morning, Dauntless. And then of course here is my dining room with my coffee pot where we are headed next. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen Nelson, the designer in jeans. So today we are actually going to be talking about stylizing bookcases. And I was lucky enough to have a client this week that needed some bookcases styled. So I have some tips that I have throughout the video on me actually styling her bookcase, but I also wanted to give you a couple of tips as well up front that you're going to need to do in order to prep to do the actual bookcases. But first, I just wanted to give you a little update, some different stuff. I actually have my earrings. I love these. I am trying to, these are little cactus. I am trying to center spring and summer because it is freezing outside. I know a lot of you have it colder than we do here in Texas, but we're cold, which means you're cold, and I'm sorry for that. Unless you love cold, then enjoy. But I cannot wait for the sun to come back out. It's been very rainy, so I'm ready for the sun to come out, the beach. Everything sounds really good about that. So I am enjoying a hot coffee right now while we talk. And I also wanted to point out, I think you can see in the background, I'll get a close up here in a minute of it, but this was an early birthday gift from my father, and he is getting incredible on that CNC machine. So it is the American flag, and it has an eagle in it. I am in love with this back corner here, so I had to bring attention to it as well. So back to bookcases. The first thing you have to do when you're getting ready to do a bookcase is you need to take the measurements. You need to take the measurements of the height, the width, and the depth. Yeah, height, width, depth of the bookcases, and always measure, because a lot of those are adjustable. You can, of course, adjust them and make it whatever height you want. But you do want, if you have two flanking bookcases and they are adjustable, make sure it's even on both sides unless you're very abstract. The majority of people like symmetrical. And so even if you put a big gap on the top one, you still need to have the big gap on the other side, the same height. Very important when it's a focal point to have that stuff line up, unless again, you're going for that very abstract look, but the majority of people like symmetry. So that is the first tip. So take those measurements before you ever go to the store. Also, take really good photos. So a lot of times, and this client included, when we started, she already had pieces, so she was unpacking. So as she found stuff that she really liked, she put them on the bookcases just as like placeholders. So you have to take a photo of what you already have, and you need to know what you're gonna eliminate, but what you're going to actually incorporate. So you do not want to buy everything brand new. You do want to take some of those pieces that you already have that have a lot of meaning to you, and you wanna incorporate those with the pieces that are just there for decor. So those are the beginning tips before you ever make it to the store. The rest of the tips I will show you as we're going throughout the video. And then I actually have, I'll pop back on here because I have another thing I wanted to show you in the client's home that I am in love with. Tip 1, when shopping for bookcase decor, set a color theme. We selected our color theme off of this beautiful statement wallpaper that is in her living room. We pulled the gold, white, black, and silver onto the bookcase. Tip 2, remove all items from the shelves that need to be repositioned or removed from the design prior to setup. Tip 3, as you start to redesign your shelves, make sure to create balance in color and visual weight on both sides. Tip 4, use items of varying height, shape, and color. Greenery and books are perfect for layering and creating height. I did want to explain to you as well, when you are designing these bookcases, in the video, it's going so fast, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I will stylize a side or even just a shelf, and then I'll back up and I'll get the further view from it, because when you back up and you get that like full view, especially if it's 2 bookcases, even if it's just 1 though, you can really see where something's off. So being right on top of something, like even when you hang a picture, sometimes when you hang a picture and you're hanging it, it looks straight to you, but you step back and it's crooked. Same kind of thing when you're designing a bookcase. Another tip that I kind of touched on in there was the layering. So when you get books or you get different height candlesticks, anything like that, layering is what really, really adds the depth. One of the shelves I had that it had to be blurred out, but I had a sign and then I had 2 boxes stacked, but they were kind of in front of a piece of that sign. So it gives you more depth and interest to the shelf as well. The other key ingredient is you have to follow the design rule. The design rule is to have odd numbers of everything. So if you have a shelf, every shelf should have an odd number. It can have 1, could have 3, 5, 7. I push away from 9 and up if it's little things. 9 is fine if you're stacking books. You would count each one of those books, right? Unless it's a full thing of books, you don't have to count every book if it's just a shelf full of books. But if you're just using it as like 3 of them and then 2 little end caps, right? That would make 3, 4, 5. And then you would have the candle or some other books, whatever you want to do on the other side, but you would make it all 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and up. If this is not a bookcase, it's more aesthetic and it's not full of books, I also recommend that you do varying. So not every shelf has 9 items, not every shelf has 7 or 5. So you just kind of vary it up a little bit to where it's even on the other side. So if I'm using 1 statement piece on the top on one side, I want 1 statement piece on the top on the other side. And normally those will be the same color, the same shape, something like that. They don't have to be the exact same piece, but it has to pull the 2 sides together. So you'll see if you go back and look at the video, or if you even caught it, there's repetition in where I put, say, a piece of greenery or between the 2 sides. So if one shelf has greenery here, I'm going to try to do it on the other side in the same general area to give you that balance. So when you're watching, say, the TV, and you're going to see on the sides that it's balanced. So all of these little things with the color, the heights, and the numbers are very, very important. So make sure you really focus on that when you're setting up your bookcases as well. So important for you to also use your sentimental items, because these are items like pictures. And if you're not a picture person, maybe you have like a sign someone gave you, or you picked this piece up in Africa on your trip. Anything like that that is really sentimental, or is a conversation starter for when you're entertaining guests. All of that is really what makes the house a home. You can go buy the most beautiful pieces and piece them all together and it looks stunning, but it falls flat if there's not some of that personal touch to it, unless of course it's a commercial bookcase. Then obviously you don't want to do all the personal stuff on it. If it is your home, I recommend you mix the two and just play off of the colors in the room. That's really a big thing as well. Whatever colors you want to pull out, it makes the room cohesive and it sets the tone for what you're wanting. This is of course my coffee bar, but if this were behind me on a video like it is today, I feel like it's eye-catching. It tells you a lot about me. It tells you I'm married. It tells you I'm really into family and art. It tells you that I love coffee. So those are some important things right there. And this is a story that is 2 shelves big. So just think of what you can create when you have 10 shelves to play with. I also touched base on the greenery. I do think greenery is needed on bookcases. I prefer fake greenery on bookcases. And hear me out. I know fake greenery is not that ideal. Everyone's into the plants, which obviously we should be, life and everything else. But the problem with real greenery on shelving is you need it to stay a certain size. So when you go and you buy that beautiful ivy plant and you put the ivy on there, and in 2 years it's grown and it's just overflowing from the bookcase, it doesn't look good, or it grows out a different way. Like it's alive, it's supposed to grow and expand and do whatever. But when you set up the bookcase, you don't do it with that in mind. You do it with the aesthetic of the now in mind. So I recommend that you just buy, you could do succulents because they'll stay the same size, but I recommend that you do fake just so you're not up on a ladder trying to water it. It's more of like a set it and forget it. I think works really, really well for that. So I wanted to show you the wallpaper. I had told you before about the lady that I used to do wallpaper. I will link her below. She actually was working with my client as well. So we combined on she did the living room wallpaper you saw there, where now that it's the black and the gold, that's how I built the bookcases off of, and we designed around it. But also she did her guest bedroom, and she also did her master bedroom, but I have the guest bedroom filmed. And I did the design of the guest bedroom with that wallpaper in mind. So we kind of worked together and played off of that. And the result of the living room, I love. It is so fun. But the guest room is just stunning. So I wanted to include that footage in here just so you could see some of the wallpaper. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. It was so much fun taking you to this client's house so you could actually see a little of what I do. Make sure you stay warm, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.